Hello, my nerdlings. If you're new here, my name is Nikki. Welcome to my channel where we get nerdy. Today, we're going to talk Herkid, which is the hardest reading challenge you will ever do. Or you'll ever do. There's no will. So I have not done something like this before. Like, I've done reading challenges. But I haven't done, like, this type of video before. So, it's going to be fun. I'm using software I haven't used in a very long time. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through the spreadsheet for Herkid. And I'm going to show you the prompts, explain a little bit more about what Herkid is and all of that. And maybe even think of some potential reads for Herkid. So, without further ado, let me minimize this on down, and yeah, you get to see my OBS software. Just bear with me, okay? I don't know how to make it so that I can see my software and this at the same time. So, but Herkid, round 2. This spreadsheet is for tracking and planning, and then there's an entire website that has the rules. So if we go here, the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. What it is, so Q is a booktuber that designed this reading challenge to, like, change it up. This is not something that you have to, like, follow to the T. And don't stress out about it. In every year, it begins on July 7th, which is Q's birthday, and it ends July 6th. But people can adjust the time frame, which I will probably adjust it so that it's July 1st through June 30th, just to make it easier for myself. You sign up using Google Docs, things like that. There's a community on Discord. I've already joined it and everything. But what's great is over here on the side, we have a menu with the rules, the point system, if you decide to use the point system, bingo boards, the prompts, the works, okay? We'll come back to this. But the spreadsheet. Q and a friend put this together. I can't remember the friend's name. They put this together. They did an absolutely phenomenal job. Oh my goodness. So here's the bingo board. Let's zoom out a little bit if we can, so we can see it all at once. I don't want to do 50, but it's kind of what I got. All right. So here's our bingo board. What's great is as you fill stuff in and you say I completed it, it will change the color of the squares to show that you completed that square. The purple prompts are, from my understanding, the purple prompts are prompts that you cannot change. And then the white prompts are like, there's like special rules. I can never remember them. So, there's the bingo board. Oh, there's year 1. This is year 2. That doesn't help. The rules. No DNFs. You cannot DNF a book and account for your goals. You can reread, but only after you read 10 new books. You can double up. I don't want to do it. If there is a prompt you just cannot do, you may replace it by reading 5 indie/self-pub books with under 500 ratings. White prompts. Here we go. So the white prompts are set in stone and have strict guidelines to follow. And everyone must complete. Purple prompts, these are customizable. You will decide the overall prompts under this umbrella. This means the number of books can vary from person to person. Okay, I had it backwards in my brain. So by the 100s, if we come up to here, it will bring us to this page. This is saying that I need to read a book that has a page count of 100 to 199, 200 to 299, 300 to 399, so on and so forth. When you get to 700, you don't have to stop at 799. It can be just 700 plus pages. So if I really wanted to, I could read like a 1,000-page tome. And then there's like all the potential reads for each of them. I need to go through my shelves and figure out what I have that will fit here. And then once you fill it all in, you click, I did it. And then go back to the bingo board and look, now it's green. So very exciting. Back to the bingo board. 24-hour readathon. This is kind of like the same thing. You read for 24 hours straight. The minute you nap, you're done. You can pause to like feed children, take showers, eat, whatever it may be, but you cannot go nights. The minute you go nights, you're done for. It's just to see how many books you can read in a day. Subgenres of choice. So our first purple prompt. You pick a genre that your overall like overarching theme that you like to read. I'm going romance. And then you pick a subgenre. So I could go, let's see, paranormal romance. And then I could read a contemporary romance. I could read a fairy tale retelling romance. And I have the ability to edit this. So if I really wanted to, cowboy romance will put under Western. So like sports romance isn't under here. So I'm going to edit. And we can scroll over here, add another item, and I'm going to write hockey romance. Let's see. I want to go with the dark blue. I don't feel like doing pastels. I could put in football romance. And let's see. Let's make it purple. I could add why choose. And we could make it a dark color. Done. I apply it to all of them. Right? So now I can come over here and go do. It may not put it in alphabetical order. So, yeah. There. Hockey. Football. I'm going to change contemporary because I read why choose. So, like, there's my choices, right? And I could insert a book cover for each of these. I don't know if I have any pictures downloaded. But, like, so potential for a paranormal romance would be, what's the name of that one? What is it? It's like a hunger like no other. A why choose, like the Never List. Fairy tale, retelling romance. I don't know. Let's do a contemporary because, I could do 9-month contract. For a Western. What's that? Like, what's that Elsie Silver one? I'm just gonna write Elsie Silver, right? Hockey. Gloves Off. That just came out. And then Monica Murphy has football romances. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, I have potentials that I could put there. So back to the bingo board. Series staircase. This one sounds really neat. So we're making a staircase based off from books. So you read a standalone, then you read a duology, then you read a trilogy, and then you read a series that has 4 or more books. If you have started a series that has more than 4 books, but you still have 4 books remaining in that series, so like Discworld or Wheel of Time or, Wings of Fire. I'm trying to think of like super long series and my brain's not working. Throne of Glass. As long as you have 4 books left to read, you can use that for the 4 or more. I don't know what I'm going to do here, to be honest. Because, like, what could have fit here does, like, it doesn't, I don't have any more to plug in. I already read them this year. And then award season. This one I need to do some more research on. So it's, you pick a competition, whether it's like the Hugos, the Booker, Goodreads, Spiffbo, and you read a book that was entered, 2 books that were semifinalists, 2 books that were finalists, and then I don't know how you read 2 winners. But this one I will probably need some clarification on. I'm kind of unsure how I'm going to go about this. So, I'm not very good at following the awards. So, I'm going to have to be on top of my game for that. TBR challenge. So, this is where you pick somebody else's TBR from YouTube or whatever it may be. So, like, there's a bunch of examples here. You pick somebody else's TBR, watch them play their game, and then build your TBR based off from their gameplay. If that makes sense. So for me, I could go to Chelsea's channel and watch Chelsea play her To Be Rolled. Or I could go to Ren's channel and watch them play, their game that's inspired by, what is it, Stargate? TBR Gate, right? That's the name of it? I'm sorry, Ren, if I messed that up. Don't be mad at me. I could even watch stuff that's like super duper old, like Jade at JD Ray Reads. She used to do TBR Pursuit. Could watch that. I could, any of them, right? I'm kind of tempted to get a hold of maybe Chelsea and see if Chelsea's kiddos would want to play a round of To Be Rolled for me and that be my TBR 1 month so I can cover this challenge. I don't know. I'll see what Chelsea thinks, because that just sounds like fun. And then the last 10 years. So this is, you have to read a book published, like one book published each year for the last 10 years. So it can be 2015 to 2025 or 2016 to 2026. You pick which year it was and so on. Pretty simple. Of course, it works out to be 11 books. And then back to the bingo board. All the adaptations. This one I am super duper excited about. So there's an easy mode and a hard mode on this one. So the easy mode would be, I could watch the, let's see. I could watch the TV show for the Black Dagger Brotherhood that just came out, by J.R. Ward. Or I could watch Murderbot Diaries or something like that. And that, fills that prompt. I could watch the Hunger Games movie or any of them. I could watch a web series. Like, there's just a bunch of adaptations. But the source material came from a book. So I could do the musical version of The Hunchback of Notre Dame that Disney put out for musical. Do you see where I'm going? That's the easy mode. The hard mode is you read the source material before you consume the adaptation. So, for example, if I read Dungeon Crawler Carl, and then in the fall I decide to read the webtoon adaptation that's getting done, that would cover the graphic novel and comic version. I did have a question that I want to propose to the group chat, to the Discord. If I decide to read like a D&D book, like the Tal'Dorei D&D book for Critical Role, and then watch Vox Machina, does that count? Or if I read the Critical Role comic books, do I source the material, like, can I then watch The Legends of Vox Machina on Prime as the adaptation? I need to ask some questions. But that's what this one is all the adaptations. It's not necessarily reading, but you're still consuming some creative work in some manner. A disability rep challenge. This is pretty self-explanatory. You have to read 5 books with disability rep in them, or the author's disabled, but it can't be the same one. So I can't read 5 books with characters that have autism. Or I can't just read 5 books where the character has chronic illness. They have to all be different. So, like, I could do deaf, blind, autism, Chiari malformation. I don't know. I'm just pulling stuff out of my butt. So, like, there's options, right? I have to do different disabilities for each. And then, which I'm, like, kind of on the fence on because, like, I don't know a bunch of books off the top of my head with disability rep. Hold on. All right, I was going to try and pause while Leon decided to come and chat, but he's having fun, so we'll just keep going. Why didn't I just think to scroll along this bottom? And Leon just unplugged my laptop. Hold on a moment. Okay. Let's see. All right, so Heritage Months. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months that celebrate some type of Heritage Month. Disability Pride, Hispanic Heritage, Indigenous Heritage, Black History, Women's History, Arab Heritage, Jewish Heritage, AAPI, and LGBTQ. You get bonus if you do the points thing. You get bonus points if you read a book for that month. So, like, if I read Kindred during February, I would get bonus points because there is a African American character, but also the author's African American, like things like that. So you just read one for each. It does not have to be in that month, though. I could read, what is that? Like an ML Wong book for AAPI Heritage, but I don't have to wait till May to read it. Leon, go find Nick. Translation challenge. This is reading 5 books that were translated to your language. So I could, but I'm pretty sure it cannot be all the same language. Hold on. Let's go here. I think it is a white prompt. By the 100s. As many as you can in 24 hours. Series. Last 10 years. All the adaptations. Disability. Heritage Months. Translated. 5 books that were translated from 5 different languages. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to read, like, what was that oak tree one that I read? Under the Oak Tree, and I Want to Die, But I Want to Eat Tteokbokki, because they're both Korean. I would have to pick different languages for each 5. Around the World, this is reading a book that is set on each continent, but you do not have to do Antarctica. That's a bonus, which good, because the only one that I've read that was set in Antarctica, I've already read it. I wouldn't know any other book that was set in Antarctica that I could read. So this is reading a book from North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, and Australia, which sounds super fun. And then after that, we have the Even Bigger Rainbow Challenge. So instead of just going RG-BIV for the rainbow, we have an extended rainbow. You have to read a book that the cover is a minimum of 50% red, orange, yellow, green, teal, light blue, blue, purple, pink, black, white, silver / gold, and 7+ colors. Which the 7+ colors is actually not that difficult as you think. There's a website apparently where you can upload the book cover and it will tell you the percentages of which color is on there and whatnot. I can't remember the name of the website though, but it is somewhere. What? Tell Nikolai. I'll help you in just a minute, okay? Okay. Okay. So, there's the website that we can use. Hi Pearl. Make a quote. This is where you pick a quote that you like, and you pick a book that has each word on the cover. So I picked the quote, "While I breathe, I hope." I picked this because in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, there is Spiro Sparrow in the book, which comes from the Latin "Dum Spiro Sparrow," which means "While I breathe, I hope." So I would pick 5 books each that have "While I breathe" and "Hope" on the title, in the cover. As the title, or author's name can count too. Spooky creatures. Okay, so this one I'm gonna need some recommendations. You have to read a book where the character there's a character that's a vampire, got that covered. Shifter, covered. Magic user, it could be literally anything. Fae folk, easy. Spirit, I'm concerned about. Merfolk, I'm concerned. Zombie, I'm definitely concerned. But it doesn't have to be brains zombie. It could be any type of undead brought back to life. So, I'm going to ask the question about, does Magnus Chase count? Because he's technically dead. And then other creature. But I don't know what other creature means. Okay, so this is, hold on. White prompts, page 2. Other creature. What does other creature mean? Oh, no, this is the submission. That doesn't help. I'm guessing Mothman, cryptid type, Yeti. Ooh, I could read that one. Frostheart. But anyways, that's what I'm guessing other creature means. So then, I didn't mean to highlight that. Ooh, potentials. So, potentials, filthy rich vampires. Obviously, it's got vampire. Filthy rich fae. Fae creatures. Shifters. Mercy. Thompson. is shifters. Like there's werewolf shifters, coyote shifters, like a bunch of stuff. Magic users. I could do Quicksilver. That would have Fae. Why can't I think of the name of the book? I'm struggling, guys. Wooing the Witch Queen magic user. Like that type of thing. I'm sure there's a merfolk that I could think of at some point. But anyways, then we have another one called Become the Avatar. This is you read a book that has either something water related in the title or on the cover, but it does not have to be both. You can do both, but separately. So like cover image, word in the title. So I could pick like this D&D book doesn't really help. I could pick up Swordheart, right? And there's a bunch of trees and animals on the cover. So I could say, for the earth, cover image, Swordheart. But if I wanted to do the hard mode, I could then do an earth prompt with a word in the title, and I could pick something like braiding sweetgrass. Does that make sense? And then readathon challenge. This is participating in a readathon that isn't Herkid. So there's a bunch of examples here. Aurelium, whatever you want-a-thon. I could do Once Upon a Readathon. What Our Fantasy, which is technically not on YouTube, but I do Our Fantasy, so that's probably what I will complete. I'm not going to do a blackout for Our Fantasy. I will probably just do a bingo for Our Fantasy to count it here. Animals, this is you have to read a book that features a house pet. So dog, cat, whatever it may be. Exotic pets are anything that you need an exotic vet for. So bearded dragon, snake, hedgehog, things like that. Farm animals, self-explanatory. Wild animals, this is anything that in your biome, like if I was to walk outside and go for a walk in the woods, it would have this animal in it. So something with, since I live in Maine, I could do something with where there's lobster or blue, different types of birds, chickadees, deer, moose, bears, mountain lions, raccoons, opossums, things like that. Zoo animals are something that is not native to your biome that you would see in a zoo. So for me, we do have a exotic wildlife rescue, essentially, a few towns over, where he has lions, tigers, bears, camels, all that stuff. I could read something with that features that in it. But the thing is I'm not sure. We'll have to scroll a little bit. They're featured in some way. So I was thinking of my son, Nikolai. One of his favorite series is called Endling. And the animals get like a personific. They're they talk like humans, like they're humanized. But there's like a fennec fox that's not native to my area. There's like a jaguar as well. So that would count for zoo animals. The queer alphabet. This is you read a book that features each one of these. So gay, lesbian, bisexual / pansexual, transgender, intersex, asexual, polyamory, non-binary / agender, and gender fluid / two-spirit. I am going to heavily rely on some recs here. So for gay, I could put Pucking Stronger. That is the last book in the Jacksonville Rays series. For lesbian, I have, what's that one? I think it's like Dream on Ramona Riley. It just came out. Bisexual / pansexual, I don't know. Transgender, I don't know. Intersex, I don't know. Polyamory, I could do Bonds of Hercules, the second book. And these other, like, I'm gonna have to do some research big time for these. The next square is your favorite Herkid prompt. Your favorite Herkid 1 prompt. So whatever prompt you choose, throw in the books below. If you need assistance, reach out. So here are the 5 prompts. Read an entire series with 4+ books. Like, there's so many options for this one. Go to a garage sale, find 3 books and read them. A 500-page book in 1 day. Read a completed webcomic. 5 books from 5 small booktubers. That would be a fun one. 5 books from 5 author tubers. That would be a fun one too. Read a book that features a recipe that is not a recipe book and make that recipe. Oh, that would be fun. Okay. Read a book with protagonists whose names are people you know. You can also include yourself. I honestly don't know of any books with the main character named Nicole. I'm going to Google it. Romance books with Nicole main characters. I mean, I do have some romance books that I'm putting off reading because they share a name with a student. So I'm struggling to like get into reading them. But anyways, let's see. One Grumpy Puck, Enemies to Lovers sports romance. Nicole is a sports reporter who ends up interviewing a grumpy hockey star. Stealing Home is an athletic trainer for a professional baseball team. And obviously she falls for one of the guys. I don't know. But anyways, so there's options for Nicole, at least. BIPOC challenge. BIPOC authors. Let's see. Now more than ever, it's important to read from diverse voices. Read 10 books written by 10 different authors from backgrounds that differ from your own. That is easy enough. So I could read from Elizabeth Lim. I could read from N.K. Jemisin. I could read from Tracy Chi. Let's see. I am going to butcher the pronunciation of their name, but Jiren J. Zhao, Iron Widow's writer. I could read from S.J. Jones, Anna Huang. I'm sure there's more. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry if I shook you guys up. There's got to be more. I know there's plenty of authors I can think of. New releases. You read a new release for each month. There's special rule, but with better time frame for everyone. Now you can read any new release within 60 days of its publication. Yes, this means before or after. So you could have an arc of something that comes out in September and you can read it in August or October. So, that one will make me have to read my pre-orders. So I kind of like that challenge prompt. Challenge yourself. This is you have a reading goal, most likely for yourself. Complete one of your reading goals. For me, I have a bunch of reading goals, but I could say I want to read this series from start to finish, and that would be my goal. And I could put it in here. The people that made this said that if you need help at any point with like formatting and stuff, just let them know on the Discord, and they will have no problem helping you organize the page. Nonfiction challenge. This is reading 5 nonfiction books, but they can't be the same nonfiction type. So basically, you can't just read celebrity biographies or self-help books. So I was thinking I could read The 5 by, let's see. So we have The 5 by Hallie Rubenhall. That would be a true crime, right? Because that is about Jack the Ripper's victims. I could read In Order to Live by Yoonmi Park, and that is a memoir about her escaping North Korea. I could read Braiding Sweetgrass, and that is Indigenous Beliefs and Science, like it's a tie between the two of them. I could read The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. It's science-y based, but it's a biography. And science. Bless you. I could read, what's that other one I have? I don't know. But there's some examples, right? I'm looking over at my shelf and I'm like struggling to see the titles. Ooh. And then lastly, we have Q recommendations. So, the YouTuber that designed all of this has mini reviews. And so you pick a book from a mini review. Worse than Q said, better than Q said, fully agree with Q. There's full reading vlogs. You find one of their reading vlogs. You pick a book from a reading vlog and you read it. And then one from a YouTube short / TikTok / Instagram reel that Q has made. So, there's that. Let me go back. How do I go back? Yeah, let's make this big again. So there's Herkid. I hope maybe I inspired you to want to participate in Herkid. Give it a shot. Maybe just see what it's about. If my description was poopy enough, let me know what you think. Hit the like button if you did. Comment down below if you plan on participating in Herkid, or if you are, please give me some suggestions or recommendations on anything that you see here. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. And until next time, remember, you are loved and you are valid.